Hey everyone, I wanted to do a follow-up video to the Chantal language of manipulation video that I previously did a few weeks ago. I also wanted to say I am not a psychologist. I'm not trying to diagnose her or anyone with some kind of disease or issue. I studied linguistics and rhetoric, so communication is a big passion of mine. I just really enjoy analyzing these things, and particularly for Chantal, how manipulative I feel her communication style is. I feel it's indicative of her immature and selfish behavior towards others as well. So the first thing I wanted to get out of the way is Timbit. I didn't realize how contagious feline leukemia is, so my bad for not researching that point more thoroughly. I also didn't realize how much older and how affected Timbit's mobility was. He does say that the vet recommended that Timbit just stay in the room away from Chantal's cats.
I have occasionally tried to let her out of my room. She doesn't leave. She's not locked in here with me, I'm locked in here with her. Yeah, feline leukemia virus, so she has to be isolated from the other cats, especially from Sam, because it's contagious, and we don't want Sam getting sick, because he's still really young. I know there's a vaccine. Honestly, the vet recommended against it. Like, the vet told us not to, that it wasn't worthwhile. Before we took her in, my mom moved into an old folks home, and it's a small apartment my mom had. Timbit, honestly, doesn't have much less room here than she did with my mom.
He does mention that Timbit doesn't even try to leave the room when the door is open, and I mean, of course, we could always say, well, maybe she's conditioned to or trained to stay in that room. A user on the farms pointed out how Timbit's condition was prior to Peetz even getting her. So a lot of people seem to be saying that she's in kind of the best care for the situation that she's in. So I did previously use Chantal's interaction with Peetz specifically to highlight her behavior. So let's go ahead and look at some others.
And we are eating poutine and pizza. Cheers. Hold up your food, everybody. Yeah.
My food pop eating.
I bet mine clicks more than yours.
Now, do we have any funny stories that we can tell? No. No.
How about the time you were babysitting your little sister when she was asleep?
I was hungover.
She got up, she went to go to the bathroom, she bent down, squatted in the laundry hamper.
Natalie did that?
Yep.
Before you were born, after the baby shower, your room was full of like stuff that was in packages and I used to play store. Remember that?
And you are...
33! 27.
You won't mention the mom's age.
You're young for a mom.
You're
was a teenage-
74-year-old.
That was a teenage pregnancy.
Better than deli.
It is.
Looks like it's straight out of a Lunchable pack.
I used to like Lunchables. The bologna ones. Okay guys, well I'm going to end the video here. I don't want it to be too long. So, thanks for watching us crazy people.
So in this video with her family, she pinned a comment in the comment section about her sister, and I just feel like that was really weird that she felt the need. A lot of people felt that it was her trying to push down her sister and elevate herself in a way, but her sister was just acting really normal. I mean, she was chewing with her mouth open a lot, but that doesn't indicate that like you need to broadcast some kind of issue to your comment section. If anything, she just seemed kind of like a normal person would feel if they were annoyed or confused as to why they were being filmed while eating. You could kind of tell that her sister might have been a little bit annoyed as well when Chantal was like, hold up your food, and you could hear her sister go, it's half eaten. She also pretty abruptly said no when they asked if they knew any stories. So Chantal recenters herself a lot in this conversation, talking about when her mom had a baby shower for her sister and she was like, oh, I was playing with all your gifts. When her mom made a joke about her age, Chantal mentioning, oh, you were a teenage pregnancy, like you were pregnant with me when you were a teenager. When the boyfriend of the sister said that the meat was kind of like out of a Lunchable and she replied, oh, I like Lunchables. It's like, how do you respond to that? It's not really making conversation. It's just making statements about you. You're just talking at people, recentering yourself to be the topic of discussion or the focus. She does do that really big boisterous laugh, which I still feel, and I guess I would like y'all's opinion. To me, it doesn't sound like a real laughter at some point. Like it starts out real, and then I feel like she elongates it, and it's just sounds fake to me. This is from the New York Times. Genuine laughter, real eruptions of joy, are generated by different neural pathways and musculature than so-called volitional laughter. Contrast the sound of someone's helpless belly laugh in response to something truly amusing to a more throaty ah-ha-ha that might signify agreement or a nasal when someone might be feeling uneasy. A fake laugh is produced more from areas used for speech, and so it has speech sounds on it. So a fake laugh is basically an imitation of a real laugh, but produced with a slightly different set of vocal muscles controlled by a different part of our brain. The result is that there are subtle features of the laugh that sounds like speech. This group put their research to the test and found that when they asked people whether a slowed down laugh recording was human or non-human animal, they couldn't tell with the real or spontaneous laughs, but they could tell the recordings of the fake or volitional laughs were of people. So maybe that's something that we need to explore a bit more. Let me know what you think down below. There's part of me that feels like I can tell when she's laughing for real, and then when it gets exaggerated into like a fake laugh, and I feel like this is again to just recenter herself. So previously we spoke about how she pushes her boundaries upon others, and she recently showed us the state of her apartment. There's a debate on whether or not Peetz should just clean all this stuff up. A lot of people say like, oh, well, he should just focus on his own room, which isn't 100% tidy either. So some people say, well, he should just do it. It's his place too. Just do it for the sake of it. But then other people say it's not his mess. Why should he have to clean up after her? That's just enabling her. Personally, I would like to see him be a bit more assertive about it. It is a shared space. I do feel like she, again, has like overstretched her boundaries, and she's kind of taken over the kitchen. Someone on the farm said that she kind of has set herself up like a sentry on her chair in front of the fridge. I mean, on one hand, yeah, he might not care about like the decorations. I don't know if you would call it that, but like this is just, it's so much, and it's not healthy. So to me, I really would wonder if he's coming up to her being like, hey, can we work out a plan? Like, hey, we really got to get this sorted. Or if it's literally just like he goes and gets her parcels, he brings it to her, and he's done, and he just doesn't care. I mean, that apathy could be indicative of some other issues going on that he needs to address. Just some thoughts. So the lack of cleanliness and the hoard is interesting because most of the time, if you've ever seen the show Hoarders, they tend to have a really like emotional connection to the items around them. So like if this cup was broken or old, they'd be like, no, I need to keep this because of whatever. Everything she's shown just seems to be meaningless, just trash, like a chaotic result of impulse purchases, and a lot of it had to do with food. So this isn't the first time this has happened. She previously mentioned that when she used to live with BB, aka Milan, her ex-boyfriend, another person that she'd given a nickname, she had hidden pizza boxes in the closet.
So if he was concerned about my eating habits, which maybe he was, I'm sure he was, especially finding pizza boxes and things like that, but he never really expressed that. We had our place fumigated. We stayed in a hotel. If you're not up to date, watch my previous videos. It'll catch you up. There's still some roaches. Reminds me of a time when I had an ant problem when I was living with my ex. I just got him a dozen of his favorite donuts. And when he woke up the next morning, they were all dancing all over those donuts, and he was like, ah! I'm like, sorry.
But she insists that she does most of the cleaning, and she did this again with Peetz recently.
I would say I do like most of the cleaning, 95% of the time. And no, it's not always up to par, but you know what? If he had a problem with it, he just had to pick up a broom.
So clearly her perception and reality are not lining up.
And everybody just eats, you know? But if I go into your spot, is that rude? Yes.
So in this clip, I feel that she's pushing her boundaries when she reaches over to BB's plate. I feel like she knew that it wasn't okay. I feel like she already kind of generally knew the rules. Like, oh, I eat from my side, you eat from yours, and she was just relaying it to the camera or the audience. There was no need for her to reach over and touch his food.
Please leave me comments. I love comments. Like, I honestly, and leave nice ones. Better. I'm coming after you.
So here's an older clip I found of where she, again, is expressing her control over boundaries to us, the audience. We know that she does this with her comment section a lot.
Try this. I'm sorry for the loud noise in the background. The TV.
So here where she raises her voice at BB in annoyance, I feel like this is what she would be like when she's more comfortable with someone, when she doesn't feel the need to resort in that moment to like a kind, sweet, like fake manipulative type of interaction, but she's comfortable enough to assert her dominance and that control by raising her voice. I wanted to add in a couple clips from 2 videos she posted where she went to a couple parties.
Hey, say hi. Say hi to my subscribers. Say hi. Hi, say hi.
That tried to sell me friggin' face cloths for about 20 minutes.
I told you not to make eye contact with him, didn't I?
Yeah,
He's
and then
gonna
he
bug
brought
you
me
all
his
night.
phone to like look at the product.
Sorry about the lighting, guys.
Chris, And I'm like, honestly, it's the same shit that I buy at Sephora, okay?
Super annoying.
Okay, what's his
I'm glad
problem?
he's in the other world.
I hope he doesn't watch this video. He's gonna be like, "Aw." He probably doesn't.
Well, it's not Mary Kay, but it's like, no, I'm kidding.
Yeah, no.
I think he thinks he's
He looks like a little kid. He doesn't. Sorry. Woo. Okay, honestly,
Who are you pointing that at right now?
And she's like,
I prefer milk chocolate.
Turn around, take two minutes.
Man,
I prefer milk chocolate.
was even a thing.
Well, I needed to make
The limo driver was like this older man, and everyone kind of didn't like him because they thought he was kind of grumpy. But I kind of liked him. I ended up sitting up in front with him the whole way. The AC was better up front. The chair was much more comfortable. It was interesting to me how the tables have turned, because we've seen time and time again where she will just straight up ignore Peetz when he's talking. Here, I understand when people are drinking or you're at a party and there's like a lot of loud music and whatever, it's hard, you know, sometimes you'll have some like scattered conversations, but usually when you're like, especially if you're like out in the smoking section with your little group, like you usually don't get like straight up ignored. You know, noticed a lot of that, like raising her voice, talking about herself, just kept talking about her channel. It was very awkward to watch. I mean, the fact that she went and sat up front with the limo driver, she just like straight up separated herself. So for her facial expression, she definitely squints when she can't read something. And we see this a lot when she's driving, which is very scary to me. I feel like she needs to get her vision checked. And I've read here and there that deteriorating vision could be a symptom of like unchecked diabetes. Let's look that up. Blurred vision is a common side of diabetes that isn't under control. Diabetic eye disease is a group of eye problems that can affect people with diabetes. These conditions include diabetic retinopathy, diabetic macular edema, cataracts, glaucoma. Over time, diabetes can cause damage to your eyes that can lead to poor vision or even blindness. That was just from WebMD. So she definitely does that scrunched up face whenever she is frustrated as well. Well, yeah, like, that was really fucking mean. Just like completely body shaming her. It was disgusting. And like her skin, like look at her skin. Like who does that? Yeah, his lights. That's his lights. Who's playing their crappy music? I hate drive-thrus. This gives me anxiety. Hi, Shannon. What? I am the devil. Someone in the comments of my last video said it quite literally looks like a snarl, that this could be a microaggressive move that she does when she's coupling it with being manipulative, like vocally or in her other behaviors. It could be seen as like a low-key threat. So I'll also put a link down below of a person who, it was kind of like reface. They put her face on a bunch of like German singers, and someone in the comments was like, she still looks like angry or unsettling. I can't remember what they said, but the person who made the video pointed out that her eyebrows like go down. They're very angular. I don't think I can do it. Like they're angled inward. So I think that kind of adds to it, where we see this kind of like snarling, scrunched face expression from her in multiple situations. I guess previously I was just trying to point out where she couples this with a certain behavior in like a pattern. But yes, she certainly does this in other instances for other reasons. 8 p.m. Yeah, I know. Hi, Ryan.
There's somebody in here. There's a Maple Leafs fan in here.
The Twitch link. Does anyone have the Twitch link? Does anyone have the Twitch link? So here's another example of her doing that with the audience to get the Twitch link. Now, I definitely should have mentioned she does this higher pitched voice whenever she is greeting her audience, especially at the beginning of her live streams. I feel like this is to express energy. I kind of mentioned this a bit with my video on Life by Jen. She could quite literally be just pulling a Jen and be trying to sound like nice and sweet. But it also kind of reminds me of how she waves her fork around whenever she's eating. Professor Charles Spence, head of cross-modal research lab at Oxford University, says that we can definitely consider sensation transference from one perception or activity to another. If one likes dancing, then one's enjoyment of that activity might transfer to food. So maybe the little dance or wiggle we do is a way to appreciate the food even more. So that's where I think she's kind of raising her voice to give that
impression that she's like super energetic and maybe that's the way she can get her energy out. Same thing with waving the fork. It's, you know, she claims that she has a food addiction, so she's like getting that high, getting that burst of feeling, maybe not so much energy. So Peetz definitely does do this baby voice as well.
Yeah, you're my best friend.
Mute your DMs. None of us are getting any.
I'm sorry the bitches love me.
Personally, I feel like he does this in a more, I guess, appropriate way, you could say. I mentioned before, when you do this baby voice and baby speaking, it's usually when you're more intimate, when you're more vulnerable. That's why you usually do it like kind of behind closed doors. There are some couples who sometimes will do this to each other, but they typically don't do it in public or broadcast it to the world. And people definitely do this with their animals too. I just feel like there's a pattern that we see of her doing this to other people in her life to either make something seem okay and more accepted, or to like get a certain outcome and kind of condition what's happening around her. So Peetz, he insists that he wants to stay with her.
Moving with Chantal? Yeah, I mean, I'll be staying with Chantal for, you know, as long as she wants to live with me, I'll be living with her. I don't have anyone else to live with. And rent is tough on my own, so yeah, I'll be sticking with her.
He's happy with her, and to us as the audience, that can be frustrating because we can sit here and say, hey, she is clearly not being a good friend to you.
It's a harmful phrase. We should be careful the language we use. Psychotic is ableist towards the mentally disabled.
Is Miss Hussey's parody of Life of a Free Channel? Yeah!
Yeah, like it's important not to use...
That's true.
It's important not to use exclusionary language. Psycho, that is harmful towards people with
okay, I don't care right now.
Issues.
I don't care right now.
So, Casey, a Cleveland steamer, because she lays right on your chest.
Just for
today,
that, get me water.
She proved it.
He did, Sydney. Please, Peetz. Let it run for a second. That's for cold.
Except for that dream I had where you opened a boutique with some other woman. Me and that other woman, we were pretty friendly with each other. We had a bit of a flirtation going on.
Sure, rely on me to hook you up.
Pretty much.
Oh my god! You forgot a pickle! I didn't have a pickle yet.
Except for mine.
You weren't gonna eat it. Maybe I should have asked if you wanted it. But I already know the answer. That's a no, right?
I mean, I might have.
Really?
You never know. We'll never know now. We'll never know. Because you just went ahead and ate that pickle.
So, I don't think you would have wanted your pickle.
Peetz,
Mm-hmm.
do you like my room?
Yep.
What do you think of it?
You have a room.
It was very messy before, huh?
She's clearly got issues that need to be sorted out. It seems that you're not doing as well the more that you're living with her. Like, we can see this as the audience and we can feel this, and that's why it's frustrating. But if he insists that that's what he or what they want, then like at what point do you just let it go and say like, okay, well, he's made his choice. I think this point of discussion could definitely go on. How much of a part does he play? A lot of comments said if only his family knew about Chantal. And the night of New Year's Eve when they did that super long live, he spoke on the phone with his mom, and his mom knew about Chantal's channel. She went and looked it up on YouTube and was like watching them. I guess a lot of people, including myself, feel shocked because we think, oh, if only like their parents or someone outside of their family knew what she did online, then things would be different, but they're not. Chantal's mom knows about her channel. And I think that's where a lot of us are reminded often of the families on My 600-Pound Life, where they will just be complacent because they'd rather have someone who is an adult and very immature and manipulative. They'd rather have them be like calm than upset. It's easier in that moment to deal with the potential long-term repercussions rather than the immediate angry repercussions. So as I'm filming this, they actually went live. They started insulting a bunch of reactors. Peetz joined in because he wanted to keep Chantal in check. It seemed like he was more agreeing with her, kind of like gently trying to get the attention off of her and onto like a neutral, maybe like third party that everyone can get on board with hating. He was joking about actors and musicians. To me, he is just loyal to a fault. So I'm not going to take away his agency or responsibility in this. He, just like Chantal, is nearly 40. He seems very conscious of the choices that he's making. Is the only thing that he gets in return a crappy friend, and that's satisfying to him? Like, I don't know. What do you guys think? So I'm not going to straight up refute what she says, but let's take a look at what does come out of her mouth.
Thanks for doing this with me, babe.
You're welcome.
What was your biggest pet peeve that you had with him? Honestly, probably that he played so many video games and didn't give me and our relationship more attention. Just like, you know, like sometimes he'd be so invested in his game that I would like be like, Petey, Petey, like yelling for him to answer my question. And
so there's an example where she does manipulate her language and her behavior to get BB to pay attention to her. She also did it again when they were eating, I think to kind of make the situation seem okay, because he didn't really seem happy or comfortable with what they were doing. So again, just like repeated behavior of trying to downplay what she's doing and to make everything like seem okay, or give me a pass on this. So a lot of y'all left me comments about this from a live recently.
Okay, so yes, I'm gonna admit something. I didn't see that video about psychology or whatever you're talking about, but I will admit something. So sometimes I use a baby voice when I ask Peetz to do things for me, because I feel bad asking him. So I hope the baby voice will ease it up a little bit. But I'm trying to do things for myself. So from now on, I'm going to go get my own partials.
No, you're not.
Yes, I will. Do you mind getting my partials?
Yes.
Then I'm going to do my own partials.
I'm joking. I don't actually mind too much.
No, I'm going to get my... If they're not super heavy... If I need help, I'll ask. But if they're little partials at the door, I'll get them myself. And I went and got my own water. And I got my own stuff downstairs. Instead of waiting for him to go down and be like, can you get my...
Harvey.
So,
I'm not saying she did or didn't watch my video. Frankly, I don't really mind either way. But there she is admitting and confirming a big chunk of what we've been talking about. Chantal claims that she's seeing a therapist, and I really hope that she does keep it up. Yeah, I don't know if it'll affect her anger issues that she says she has, her impulsivity, and if it will trickle down to the way that she behaves with her enablers. And I'm not just talking about people around her, I'm talking about her audience as well, her audience that enables her in a negative way. We can only wait and see. You know, we all hope for the best, but it's just unfortunate that she seems to have found herself like the perfect situation and person to glue herself to. Kind of like Jen and Jean, just in this negative feedback loop for herself, her home, her roommate, her pets. A lot of it seems to stem from her. In my opinion, it's not like she's just being stagnant. It's like she's going downhill and it's like affecting everyone around her. I don't know, like I said, I could talk for ages about this, but I just wanted to address a couple points that a lot of y'all brought up that were really great. As usual, I'd love to hear your thoughts down below, and wherever you are in the world, I hope you're having a beautiful day. Bye.